Have you ever wondered if too much kindness could actually do more harm than good? What if the very virtue we cherish, generosity, is quietly leading us into burnout and regret? Today, we'll uncover ancient Stoic wisdom that reveals the surprising dangers of overgiving in our hyper-connected world. In the age of the internet, where everything is just a tap away and kindness is celebrated as the highest virtue, have you ever stopped to ask, can there be such a thing as too much kindness? I know. It sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? But stay with me, fellow Stoic, because what you're about to hear might just shift the way you see this virtue. There's a powerful lesson from the ancients that often gets drowned in the noise of modern self-help mantras. You see, the Stoics, those wise minds from ancient Greece and Rome, believed deeply in the balance of virtues. They would encourage us to stay strong, yes, but also to concentrate on virtue as a whole. And while generosity certainly counts as a noble trait, like anything good, it can go too far. Overgenerosity, my friend, can quietly backfire, sometimes in ways we least expect. Now, before you raise an eyebrow or think I'm being cynical, hear me out. Let's take this journey together. A journey through 8 unexpected ways in which excessive kindness might trip us up. We'll draw insights from Stoic greats, Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, and explore how their teachings can guide us in balancing kindness with wisdom. And as we go along, I encourage you to reflect honestly on your own acts of kindness. Are they always in harmony? Or, like so many of us, have you found yourself tipping the scales too far? If you're new here and this resonates with you, then now's the time to tap that notification bell and subscribe. I promise, we'll navigate this path together, finding the sweet middle ground between too little and too much. Because often, the most profound life lessons come from the places we least expect. Taking on too much, we've all been there, haven't we? You're at a casual gathering with friends, and someone mentions they're moving house next weekend. Before your brain catches up, your hand's already in the air. I'll help, even though your to-do list is already overflowing. So, Stoics believed in living in harmony with nature, and that includes respecting your own limits. Overcommitting isn't just a scheduling issue, it's a disconnection from yourself. Imagine your life as a teacup. Every promise, every commitment is a drop of tea. Pour in too much, and it spills. Not only does it create a mess, it empties you. The Stoics would gently remind us, know the size of your cup. This isn't about refusing help. It's about giving in ways that don't deplete your energy or your presence. Instead of committing to an entire day of heavy lifting, maybe you offer to pack a few boxes or bring lunch for the movers. Often, it's the small gestures that hold the most meaning, and they're much more manageable. Think back to that one. Saturday, you promised to help at the school fair, show up to a birthday party, and squeeze in a visit to your grandmother. By evening, you weren't really present at any of them. Exhausted, irritable, and disconnected. That's the price of overcommitment. So next time, take a moment, breathe, pause before you say yes. Ask yourself, can I really give without draining myself? Because protecting your time isn't selfish, it's wise. Always trying to make everyone happy. The eternal trap of people-pleasing. You nod in agreement with views you don't share. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You say yes when every fiber in you wants to say no. Why? Because you want to be liked. But here's the thing. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the opinions of others. So why waste so much energy trying? People-pleasing often hides behind the mask of kindness. But if we're honest, it's usually driven by our own insecurities. And let's be real, it's exhausting. You wear different masks, constantly shape-shifting, hoping for a brief flicker of approval. I once knew a guy named Tim. Great heart. But he bent over backwards for everyone. One day, he wore a shirt he hated, just because a friend gave it to him. He spent the entire day feeling awkward and uncomfortable, all because he didn't want to seem ungrateful, and that's just it. In trying to make everyone else happy, Tim lost sight of himself. Now, what if we paused for a second and looked at kindness through a different lens? Because up next, we'll dive deeper into how constantly saying yes can actually erode your authenticity and what the Stoics say about staying true to your core. Let's keep going. Remember Tim, the guy who wore a shirt he hated just to avoid upsetting his friend? Well, here's the real kicker. His friend didn't even notice. That's the irony of people-pleasing. You bend, adjust, and compromise. And half the time, the people you're trying to impress don't even realize it. The Stoics were firm on this. Authenticity matters. Be true to who you are, and the right people, those who genuinely respect your values, will naturally be drawn to you. And those who don't? Well, you can't please everyone, can you? 3. Thinking you can change people. There's a saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Stoicism echoes that sentiment loud and clear. We can't control other people, only our own thoughts, choices, and responses. But many of us, with our big, kind hearts, still try. We think our advice, our patience, or our love can transform someone's life. Sometimes, we act like we hold the antidote to their struggles, but more often than not, we don't. Think of that one friend, you know the one, who always ends up dating the wrong person. You've been there through the heartbreaks, you've offered advice, you've even tried setting them up with someone you knew would treat them right. But somehow, the same cycle repeats. It's frustrating, isn't it? Yet here's the truth. Everyone is on their own journey. You can walk beside them, support them, even catch them when they fall, but you cannot walk the path for them. The Stoics taught us to focus inward on what we can control and release the need to control everything else. Yes, it's painful to watch someone you care about make poor choices, but sometimes the kindest act is stepping back, letting them fall, letting them learn. Because real growth doesn't come from being carried. It comes from walking, stumbling, and rising again. Letting others use you. Kindness, in its purest form, is a beautiful expression of humanity. But when kindness becomes constant availability, when it turns into always saying yes, we risk something dangerous, being taken for granted. It's not always malicious. Often, it's subtle, unintentional. But over time, people start to expect your kindness instead of appreciating it. Take Lucy from the office, for example. Every Friday, she brought in homemade treats, cookies, muffins, you name it. At first, everyone was grateful. But after a while, it stopped being special. It became routine. The one Friday, she didn't bring anything. People murmured their disappointment. Nobody said thank you. And Lucy, she felt invisible, hurt. That's what happens when giving becomes expected. The Stoics remind us that everything is impermanent. Praise, reward, even routine gestures. Just as we shouldn't grow attached to external applause, we shouldn't offer kindness without boundaries. So set them. Yes, be kind. But also be clear. Let others know your generosity is a gift, not a given. That your time and energy are valuable, not unlimited. Forgetting to care for yourself in the pursuit of being a good friend, a supportive partner, a helpful colleague, we often forget the one person we should never neglect, ourselves. We convince ourselves that putting others first is the noble thing to do. But Stoicism teaches us that self-care isn't selfish. It's foundational. Imagine this. You're a car. If you keep driving without refueling, without maintenance, what happens? Eventually you break down, stranded, worn out, and no good to anyone. That's exactly what happens to us when we constantly give and never recharge. My mate Alex was the perfect example. He was always there for everyone, day or night, no matter. What? But he never took time for himself. One day it all caught up to him. He snapped, tired, resentful, completely burned out. It wasn't pretty. Stoicism values reflection, pausing, looking inward, realigning, and that includes tending to your emotional and physical well-being. A strong soul doesn't come from martyrdom. It comes from balance. So take the time, step back when you need to, refuel. You owe that to yourself. And by the way, if you've made it this far into the video, it means you're serious about growing, about learning. So keep going, because the final 3 insights ahead, they're some of the most important yet. Avoiding disagreements at all costs. No one enjoys conflict. It's messy, uncomfortable, and let's be honest, most of us would rather avoid it altogether. So what do? We bite our tongue. We nod instead of object. We tell ourselves we're being kind by keeping the peace. But Stoicism takes a different view. Avoiding conflict may feel kind in the short term, but over time, it can lead to far greater harm. Little annoyances build up. Quiet resentments grow louder inside. And soon, things that could have been addressed early become much bigger than they ever needed to be. Think of your flatmate who keeps leaving dirty dishes in the sink. The first few times, you let it slide. You tell yourself, it's not a big deal. But then, it happens again, and again. And before long, you're fuming over a single spoon. That's the danger of silence. In the next part, we'll explore how speaking up with courage and clarity can actually be an act of kindness in itself. Stay with me because the Stoics have more to teach us about truth, boundaries, and emotional strength. So, as we just explored, avoiding conflict may feel like the kind thing to do, but it often causes more harm in the long run. And that brings us to something we've all probably done at some point. You cleaned up the dirty dishes. Again, not because it was your turn, not because you had extra time, but because you thought, well, maybe it's kinder if I just do it. You didn't say anything. You swallowed your annoyance again and again, until one day it wasn't about the dishes anymore. Something small, like a forgotten coffee mug, tipped you over the edge, and you exploded. Sound familiar? The Stoics believed in confronting problems with courage and clarity, not in aggression, but in proactive honesty. It's not about picking fights. It's about addressing issues before they snowball. It's actually the kinder choice in the long run. Kinder to you, kinder to them. Giving. Too much generosity is a beautiful virtue, but like all virtues, it has its limits. In our eagerness to help, we sometimes give more than we can afford. Whether it's our time, our energy, our money, or all three, we pour ourselves out, thinking it's noble. And it is, until it isn't. Imagine this. You keep making withdrawals from your bank account to help others. A little here, a little there. Until one day you check your balance and it's empty. Now what? How do you help anyone when you're running on fumes? The Stoics would call for moderation, a balance between giving and sustaining. I once knew a woman, Sarah. She was incredibly generous, always lending money to friends. She did it with love, with good intentions. But over time, she found herself struggling, financially drained and emotionally worn down. And when she needed a hand, the people she helped were nowhere to be found. That's a hard truth, but an important one. Be generous, but also be wise. Meet your own needs before reaching out to lift others. It's not selfish, it's sustainable. Because when you protect your capacity, you can give from a place of strength, not desperation. Needing others' approval now, let's talk about something quietly dangerous: the need for validation. In today's world, the line between genuine kindness and curated kindness can get blurry. Good deeds are posted, shared, liked, and praised. But here's a question worth asking. Are we being kind or are we just performing kindness for applause? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That line still hits hard, doesn't it? It reminds us that real virtue lives in what we do, not in who sees it. Yes, sharing kind acts can inspire others. But the moment our kindness becomes a tool for validation, its purity fades. The Stoics urge us to seek intrinsic value, to do good for its own sake, not for attention. Because when you act from genuine compassion, even in silence, your soul is strengthened. So here we are. Who would have thought the road of kindness could have so many hidden turns? It's not just about being nice. It's about being conscious, about knowing when to give, when to hold back, when to speak up, and when to rest. In a world overflowing with noise, likes, shares, endless scrolling, it's easy to forget the timeless wisdom of the Stoics. But as we've seen, their words are just as powerful today as they were thousands of years ago. Now, fellow Stoics, as we stand at the crossroads between reflection and action, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever fallen into the trap of giving too much, or people-pleasing, or putting everyone else first until there's nothing left? Share your story in the comments. You never know who it might help. Your words could be the spark someone else needs, and if today's journey sparked something in you, if it made you pause, smile, or rethink how you give, then show a little love. Tap that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and ring that notification bell so you won't miss the next chapter of Stoic wisdom. Until next time, be kind, be wise, and above all, be authentically you. To continue your journey, choose one of the videos now appearing on your screen. Cheerio.